All right. Thank everybody for being here for AAC Media Days. Always an exciting time of year. As we all know, it's kind of goodbye dear. Football is here, and we know it's right around the corner when we get here. Also appreciate you being in here today to listen to me talk about one of my favorite subjects, and that's our Rice Owls. So before I get to our team, I do want to first thank Mike Oresco for building this thing into what it was that made us so excited to join this conference and be a part of it last year. And to really tell you how excited we are to have those meetings last night with the new commissioner, Tim Pernetti, and to see his vision, to hear him talk this morning, the excitement, the passion, and quite simply the fact that we're not going to bend a knee to anybody. We're going forward. We're going to fight to make this conference even better going forward. And I guess with that comes the fact that we as Rice University are more excited to be in this conference than we've ever been, with the great coaches and the great student athletes that are part of this conference. Want to also welcome Jeff Munkin, a guy that I've had a lot of respect for. Had a chance to play him a couple times now, and welcome him and the Army Black Knights to this conference. Excited to have them join. We were going to play them anyway, so it doesn't affect our schedule much that they join the conference, but we're excited for that trip up to West Point. And getting back to our team, excited to enter my 7th season at Rice University as a head coach. And the words that keep coming to my brain, the front of my brain, are pretty cool words when you think about a football program and you think about a group of young men. And that's excitement, that's retention, and that's some cool adds to our program in the modern game, the way we add personnel, very much like it used to be in the National Football League. So I think the excitement that's in our building right now is palpable. Like, you walk in our building, the way our kids are working, the way that they're always in the building because they want to be, not because they have to be, is one of the things that makes me really proud as a head coach. Just a really fun place to be. And the most important thing to know about our team off the field right now is we are a connected group. We are in our 2nd year working with a company called Amplos on mental skills and understanding how to take coaching and how to understand that the closer we are matters. And our guys have really dove into it, and I think the results are showing daily. Talk about retention. It's a good word. I think it makes us all comfortable as coaches when we have a lot of the same people back, a lot of people that we've invested a lot of time in. And last year, we only had 2 players that entered the portal that played football for the Rice Owls last year, which is the least in America. So that's something that I think is a testament to our players and how they feel about each other. It's a testament about how they feel about our coaches and the direction of the program, because those are hard things to do, is to keep everybody in your program these days. Also, with our coaching staff, we retained all 3 coordinators, and that is in no small way a testament to the investment that Tim just mentioned. Having our athletic director, Tommy McClellan, our board of trustees, and our president, Reggie DeRoche, all in alignment and allow us to do some things, creative things to keep those coordinators. Also kept 9 of 10 position coaches this year. The only one who left our staff is Mike Kershaw, who went on to be the head coach at Mississippi College. And then, so again, you talk about retention, big deal bringing back those people you've invested in. And then in the modern world of college football, you want some cool new ads. You want some cool new toys. And we've got those too. And starting with the coaching staff, to fill Mike Kershaw's role, we brought in Bobby Kennedy, who was coaching at Stanford University. And many of you will remember him from when he coached with Mack Brown and the Texas Longhorns and won a national title there. Actually had a chance to take part in hiring Bobby at Stanford, but I never got to work with him because I took the Rice job. So excited to have him back in the state of Texas. Another Longhorn connection is we created a role to bring in Bobby Merritt from the University of Texas. He was working with Coach Sarkisian and helped building their team. Bobby is serving as our general manager now, and he's doing a lot of things in terms of helping us with evaluations in recruiting, helping us in the portal, helping us advance scout other opponents. And Bobby's resume is 12 years as an NFL scout, assistant GM in the CFL, and then really starting these GM-type roles in college football. And in addition to that, he's a great asset for our current players who have dreams and aspirations of playing in the National Football League, to sit down and tell them from his 12 years of experience in the NFL, this is what I think you need to improve on. And so, again, just fired up to have Bobby with us. We had 7 mid-year transfers that joined us for spring ball, starting with E.J. Warner from Temple University. He was up on this stage at this event last year representing them, led our conference in passing. Last year, Charlie Lewis coming to us from Dartmouth. Michael Daly coming from BYU, Blaze Tita coming from Lamar University, Coleman Bennett from Bucknell, Spencer Cassell from Harvard, and Alex Baqueta coming to us from Penn State. Alex was the #1 ranked punter by some of those services coming out of high school a couple years back, went to Penn State, and now we're excited to add him to our team. And those guys all participated with us in spring ball, did a great job getting ingrained into our system as well as our team culture, and really making the effort, as well as our team doing a great job welcoming them with open arms. The summer additions that we brought in are some big-time players that have been with our team since June, jumping into the conditioning program, and can't wait to see them on the grass here next week. And that's Chad Lindbergh from the University of Georgia, who did a great job getting on the field there and helping them on their national championship run, as well as last year. Fabian Marks, who started games at corner for Utah. Ty Bowman, who was a big contributor at University of Florida for the Gators 2 years ago and was banged up a little bit last year, but we're excited to see Ty jump in and excite our team every time he gets on the field in our team techs. Graham Walker is transferring to us from Brown University, and David Stickle coming to us from Florida State at the center position. So excited about those new additions. I heard Brian just say it a second ago when he was up here talking, like, we're going to be asked about our expectations and our goals, and we all get that. And our goals are simple right now. Like, we want to earn the right to go to our third bowl game in a row. We want to compete for this conference championship, to win the American championship. That's exactly what we want to do. And our guys understand those are lofty goals, but they are putting in the work to make them a reality, literally day in and day out. Everything that they're doing in the classroom and on the field. And I think that our guys clearly understand that if the work doesn't align with those goals, they're simply dreams. And again, I'm just proud to tell you, I'm proud of the summer we've had, and I'm proud of what these guys have done so far. We got 121 players on the roster right now that all are singing out the same hymnal and working the same way. Don't have anybody that's been any kind of detraction this summer. It's just been a joy to be around these kids every chance I get, and I can't wait to kind of be in the submarine with them, as we say. You know, we're going to spend more time with these kids and coaches than we do our own family starting next week, and they're such a fun group to be around. In addition to those 30 new guys that we're bringing into the program, the other thing we have is we have 4 guys that is their 6th year on South Main, and they put in a lot of time and seen this program really grow. They've been such an integral part of this growth, and that's Chike Anabugu, Isaiah Floyd, Josh Piercy, and Giovanni Johnson-McCray. And again, those are guys that are so integral in the leadership component right now. The things that we're doing with Amplos, the things that we're doing with supplemental Saturdays, the team tech, putting in time to script, those guys, as well as those 2 guys that we brought here today, are just unbelievable components to our team and almost an extension of our coaching staff. Briefly going through our position groups, we talked about E.J. Warner. He hit the ground running. He's been a lot of fun. The growth that I've seen in him already is not so much on the field. I saw a lot of things last year where he got the ball out of his hand. He understood defense so well. What I've seen different about him than maybe what I had heard is him really diving in to be a leader of our team, to getting out of his comfort zone and creating a pickleball group, creating an escape room group, creating a movie group, and really just organizing our team to do a lot of things together. And that's been a joy to see. We also have A.J. Padgett in that room coming back, who started our last 2 bowl games for us, so a lot of comfort in those guys. In the receiver room, we lost Luke McCaffrey, drafted in the 3rd round by the Washington Commanders. Fired up about Luke and the opportunity that he has ahead of him, but we feel like we've got some talent coming back in that room. In guys like Matt Sykes, Kobe Campbell, Giovanni Johnson, Roston McNeil, Braylon Walker, and then again adding Ty Bowman from the University of Florida into that group. That we just feel like that really shores things up for us. The tight end room, we bring back 2 guys that started games for us, in Bowden Gruen, who was, I believe, 3rd in the conference in catches last year, 3rd in yards, 2nd in catches, and really productive, and has become a better inline blocker when we've asked him to. And Elijah Maharo is the guy that played for us last year, had 1 start for us, but had started at Cal prior to coming to Rice, and we look forward to having him in great shape this year and getting even more out of him. At the offensive line spot, I don't know if there's a group on our team that has had more growth through themselves getting experience and really working to improve and having that daily growth that we strive for to bring in some talented guys from the outside. Brant Banks is going to be our senior right tackle. He's moving from the left guard spot to right tackle. Our left tackle is going to be Ethan Aniawa, who started at right tackle for us the last 2 years. In the middle, we've got Weston Kropp and John Long coming back that will vie for those jobs inside, as well as Spencer Cassell from Harvard, Chad Lindbergh from Georgia, and David Stickle from Florida State. So we feel like we shored some things up there, and we got a chance to be the best offensive line we've had. And honestly, if those guys can gel together and see the game through one set of eyes like we need them to, I really have a lot of confidence they will be the best group we've had by far. At the running back room, got a big-time leader in Dean Connors, number 0. Guy does everything. He's here with us today, and excited for y'all to hear from him. Guy averaged 6.4 yards per carry last year and had the ability to take over games, had some long touchdowns at the receiver, motioning out of the backfield or lining up as a receiver as well. And Quentin Jackson, as well as adding a guy with a lot of college football experience in Coleman Bennett, and a freshman that had a bunch of touchdowns at Westfield High School in Tajee Atkins. We're excited about those guys. D-line wise, we've got lots of veteran returning production there, and I guess that's a real message for our team. I mean, some of those polls came out this year and said we had the most returning production in college football. That's always something that gives you a lot of comfort, especially as we know we built this team the right way. But adding guys like Charlie Lewis to the D-line room, he was the runner-up for Defensive Player of the Year in the Ivy League last year. We're excited about his ability to contribute, as well as bringing back Isaiah Floyd and Blake Banish inside. Michael Daly and Damone Green will also give us some real opportunity to start for us, and then also some big-time contributions. The linebacker room is one where we feel we've got so much depth. We're excited about these guys. Myron Morrison's back, had played 682 snaps and had 80 tackles last year for the Rice Owls. Josh Piercy is playing a hybrid position. Josh and Myron were both at this event last year at Media Day for us. Both back. Both guys were captains last year. With Josh playing as much off the ball as he was on the ball in spring, it added some excitement in the patterns that Coach Smith could bring him on, and some of the different front variations where we're in the same personnel, but everything looks completely different. Ty Morris is an ascending player. He was a true freshman for us last year, played in 12 games. Chike Anabugu, we mentioned, is back. He's for his 6th year. He's a guy that's going to help us a ton. Always been a special teams guy for us that's really teaches that and teaches the other players incredibly well, holds them accountable. I think he's as good of a guy that we have in the program of setting a standard and upholding it and making sure everybody in our program understands that a standard is not a goal. A standard is the bare minimum acceptable, and if we don't meet that, something has to change. And he's one that will have those tough conversations with his teammates. We also have Chris Conti coming back from injury that we hope to have back as soon in the season as we can, as well as Kenny Seymour, Andrew Awe, the exciting DJ Arkansas, Bo Barton, and Blaze Tita. At safety, we brought Gabe Taylor in for another year. We're so excited that he's with us, and so excited you'll get to hear from him today. Clay Wyatt's another guy in that group that's a great leader. JoJo Jean, who had the pass breakup in double overtime to make sure the Bayou Bucket stayed on our campus where we want it to be. Great having JoJo back. I'm not sure that anybody has outworked Tyson Flowers in our program this year. He's an outstanding player that's had extreme growth, and I think we're going to have big things from Tyson this year. And we got a baby owl in Levante Johnson that was the highest rated recruit in Rice history that is joining our team in the safety room as well. At cornerback, I think that Jeremy Modkins coming over last year really helped that room's confidence. It helped the way our guys played with confidence, and he helped them with some techniques. And I think nobody had more success with those new techniques than Sean Fresh and the confidence that Sean's playing with. I think Sean is a big-time corner in this conference, and we know that he's going to get tried week in and week out, and we can't wait for those matchups. I actually can't wait for some of the matchups we're going to have with our own receivers next week with Sean. We've got Max Ahoya, who ended spring as the other starting corner. Lamont Narcisse is going to play some minutes for us, as well as Fabian Marks, the transfer from Utah that started some games there. Special teams-wise, we feel really good about the two guys we have punting for us and competing for that job, and Alex Baqueta and Connor Hunt, who started at punter for the last 2 years for us. Tim Horn is on track to be our field goal and extra point kicker, and will compete for the kickoff job with Enoch Goda. Sean Fresh will be our punt returner. And Quentin Jackson will be going into the year starting as the kickoff returner. He was 4th in the AAC last year with 23.2 yard average. And, although I think you can probably hear my excitement about how we are at each room and the depth that I feel we have. And that's something that's been different. We've had some players that we really believe in. We've not had the depth consistently through the position groups in the past. And it's just something we've worked really hard to get to. And getting these guys to stick around when they had opportunities to leave has been the biggest thing that added to the depth. Although I've already mentioned these 2 Rice student athletes, we have Dean Connors here today for us, as well as Gabriel Taylor. If you get a chance, I'd encourage you to ask them why they chose their numbers, because they're both great stories. In Gabe's case, I'd ask you to talk to him about what this thing looked like when he reported to Rice in the middle of COVID in 2020 and how his individual growth and our team growth has been since then. And for Dean, if you want a fun story, just ask him how he spent his 4th of July this year, going up and hanging out with Luke McCaffrey and Christian McCaffrey and watching his own film and having Christian coach him on it. But anyway, excited as I could be to be part of this conference and to be leading these Rice Owls. With that, I'll open up for any questions.
All right, we're going to start with a special question in the back in the middle from the Arlington Boys and Girls Club.
My name is Arah, and the question is, what is the best part about being a head coach?
Man, the best part about being a head coach is the fact that I get to work in a football-type setting, a locker room-type setting. I work with coaches that I dearly love and love their families, and I work with players that I'm trying to get better on and off the field every day. I'm trying to make it into the best husbands, fathers, and dads. And it's the whole reason I got into coaching. My high school coach was everything for me. I mean, he took me out of some directions I was going, some paths I was going that weren't right. And back in the day, you could actually throw people into lockers. I mean, the dude would throw me into a locker and make sure he had my attention. And he got me right, and he saved my life. And so that's why I got into coaching. Really just wanted to be a high school coach. This college and pro thing just kind of happened. So the best thing about being a head coach is the opportunity to be with people you love in a locker room setting and know that you can help them.
Next question will be the 3rd row in the middle.
Hey, Mike, you opened this by saying this is your 7th year. What does it mean to you to have the privilege to be at one place so long and to be one of the longest tenured coaches in this conference?
Yeah, I mean, incredibly blessed, Matt. And I think about that. Like, my son's a rising senior this year in the class of 25. And, in this coaching world, we've got so many friends that moved every year or 4 times in 5 years and stuff like that. My kids, for all intents and purposes, they remember 4 years in New York with the Jets. They remember 7 years at Stanford, and they remember 7 years at Rice. And whether we were living on campus at Stanford or living 3 blocks south of historic Rice Stadium like we do now, they've always had this campus as their backyard. And I think they've had a lot of cool experiences in this game and haven't had to have those moves. So it's a big deal for me personally from that standpoint. Professionally, it's just been great to see the growth. It's been great to have people lock arms with me like Hans Straub, Brian Smith, Cedric Calhoun since day one, and just say, like, guys, we're going to handle this. We're going to keep swinging. We're going to beat down every obstacle that comes our way, and we're going to get our program to where we want it to be. And I think as exciting as it is to go into year 7 to know that we've really made that progress and we're in a position we think we can jump to the next step is super exciting.
Do 2 more over there on the right.
Hey, Coach. So last year, you had a pretty good year offensively, averaging over 30 points a game, but you lost Luke McCaffrey and JT Daniels. I was wondering, how much do you think you'll be leaning on the running game, especially while EJ still gets his legs under him?
Yeah, well, that's a fair question. Number one, I think we're going to lean on the running game because we're intellectual brutality, and that's what we're all about, right? We're gonna pound you, and the whole meaning of intellectual brutality is like we understand that our kids have these big brains in addition to all their physical talents. So we're going to program them and teach them a lot of answers to the test at the line of scrimmage. Go up there, and then when the ball turns over, we're going to unleash holy hell on the person across from us, and play this game with the physicality that it demands. And so with that being said, I think, yes, we're going to run the football, but we're not doing it to protect EJ or to give him time to learn. This kid has put in the time. There's nothing that I think EJ and AJ can't execute in our offense right now. And with running the ball the way that we do come those great play-action shots, and I think both of them will have the opportunity to take advantage of them, whether you're talking about doing that out of 11 personnel or 12 personnel.
And the last question to the far right.
Coach Trey Smith, College Underdogs. You talked a lot about continuity, not just amongst your players, but your staff, which is somewhat of an anomaly in the current landscape. I guess it's kind of a two-part with that is, one, what do you attribute that to about your program? Like, why is it that way at Rice? And then two, do you believe that's sustainable to continue to function that way as the college landscape continues to shift?
So the first part of the question, the answer is love. The fact that they love each other, they love the program, that they have a lot of pride in what we do. And maybe that's not a popular answer in 2024, but it should be. Like, we should be doing this for the right reason, for helping people. And every coach should understand that they serve the players and that none of us exist without them. Like, our jobs don't exist without those players and without the players' success. As far as keeping the staff together, I also think it's one of those situations where I try to provide them with everything I can. I think my biggest jobs as a head football coach are I'm in control of everybody who enters the building and how long they stay. And so as long as they're going to do things the right way, and I want them to stay. You know, I want them to be a part of everything that we're building. And I just think the more that I can get the right people in the building and remove obstacles for them, it gives them a chance to not only have success in their job, but to be very happy doing it.
So much, Coach. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you. Go Owls. Go Rice Owls.